This is the car that I had the poster of hanging on my bedroom wall in high school. It was just the icon. It was the car we all aspired to own. It was the car we saw dominate IMSA racing. It's the car the bad guys drove on Miami Vice or whatever the hot movie was at the time. A 911 was the icon. And for me personally, it wasn't an early chrome bumper long hood car. It was a car that looked like this. It was the car with the bigger impact bumpers, the short hood, a turbo, yeah, that would be cool. But it was this basic car. It's the car that we wanted. It's the car I wanted. It was the car I always read about and rode in track. I mean, that was the benchmark. Growing up in the 80s, what was the benchmark performance car? Yeah, it was a Porsche 911, at least for me. So let's go back about 15 or so years. So we're talking the late 2000s, whatever you want to call that decade, the late aughts. Realized the 911 was within reach. And the reason I say go back to that time, at the time, a good one was in the teens. That has since changed, but started realizing that my dream car was within reach and I could maybe afford one. Was visiting the Lane Museum and they have a 911 SC and they let me take it for a spin. And I'd driven 911s before. I'd driven early ones, I'd driven new ones, I'd driven a bunch of 911s. But driving that one, I can still picture, by the time we got to second gear, and I don't mean second gear racing, I mean second gear pulling out of a parking lot, I was like, yeah, this is it. It is a unique driving experience. And I know everyone says that with every car, oh, it's unique. But this one really is. Not many cars have the pedals that come up from the bottom, from the floor, like a Beetle. The shifter has an old feel. It has a very much 60s feel and vibe to it. The pillars are very thin. You have excellent sight lines in all directions, which at least for me, makes a car more relaxing to drive. So it's a very comfortable drive. It's very airy, it's very open, it's very easy to get in and out of. The shifter's right where you want it. The steering is super responsive, and that's one thing they're known for. So I went into this wondering, all right, I'm buying this car, what is it gonna be like keeping it on the road? What's care and feeding gonna be like? And here we are 15 years later, and it's actually been really easy. And I'll be honest, I'm not really a great mechanic or even a mechanic. It hasn't been that bad. You know, I have a local shop here in town, free plug for Audubon Daytona, they take care of it. The car sees them like once a year for an oil change and if needed, a valve adjustment. So in the 15 years I've owned it, it's not like there's a huge pile of parts. The big thing though, I will say with a big caveat, I did have to do the heads on it. We found a broken head stud and realized at that time it was time to do the heads. At the time the car probably had 130,000 miles. Valve guides were starting to go. But looking back, it wasn't that bad. Yes, we had to rebuild the engine, but all the parts were available. Anything we needed was right there. And that's been a huge thing on the car. Any part I need, it's there. Door latches, the rubber seal that goes around the tail lights, any kind of switch, if you think you need it, it's out there from many vendors. I was just looking up, just mainly for an article, but the little rubber bellows that go around the bumpers, those are available from like 3 different manufacturers now, and they start at like 20 bucks each. So the part availability is amazing, and the care and feeding's actually been really easy. Everything is very robust. The wheel bearings are overbuilt. The hubs are big. You know, everything on this car is pretty overbuilt, so it's not like a dainty car that you're pushing to the limit. It's a 3.2 liter engine making 200 horsepower. All right, so we're lucky. We have a couple of cool cars. Why do I grab the keys for this one, especially late at night? First reason, the sounds it makes. It's not the loudest car. It doesn't rev higher than, you know, some other cars out there, but you just feel it in your bones. You feel that air-cooled thrum, if that's the right word. You just feel it as you're motoring about late at night. And the other is just the view. Big round gauges, the view over the headlights. Late at night, you feel like you're at Le Mans, and that is something that not many cars can deliver. You know, something with the 911, and I didn't realize this going in, it's just how approachable it is. People see it and they ask questions. I'll be at a stoplight and someone will yell over to me, hey, what year is it? Or hey, I had one, or my brother had one, my sister had one. And, you know, at the end of the day, we are stewards of the hobby. And this is a car that is a good way to break the ice and get someone talking about cars and realize cars are more than just transportation. Cars have a soul, cars have history. This is a car that has history, whether you're into motorsports or Hollywood movies. This is a car everybody knows, and to share that with everyone is special. This is a car I don't want to keep locked up in the garage. This is a car I do want to take out. I want people to see it. I want them to ask questions. They want to sit behind the wheel, they're totally welcome to. Let's go for a ride. Why do I still have this car? I met my hero, and it was everything I hoped it would be. It was rewarding to drive. It's mechanical. It goes pretty fast. It looks great. It turns heads. It's usable. It has a little bit of a trunk. If you have a Venn diagram with all these different attributes you want in a car, this one totally nails it. And that is why I have no desire to ever get rid of it.
Support brands that support Classic Motorsports. Get your chemical solutions from CRC Industries. Visit crcindustries.com to learn more. If you like this video and want to see more, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video. And to see more stories like this, visit us online at classicmotorsports.com.